All right, Showtime. So the PFL debut was in April. Obviously, it didn't go as you would have liked, I'm sure. Was that a shock to you, man? I know you wanted to come in there and make a great first impression and weren't able to do that. Was it a little surprising to you?
Now you know what, man. I feel like it definitely was surprising, but I feel like where my mindset was at, like going back and looking back at where I was at, mentally, and like the preparation I did for the fight. I was trying to think. I was going for a big knockout. I was going for a Showtime finish. I was trying to be that guy that the Showtime kick off the cage. And I forgot to build it up, man. So like I frustrated myself. Watching that fight just made me really frustrated with myself. I'm like, bro, I'm way better than what I did out there. And this time around, I just like watched the fight, wrote down everything I thought about that I could change, that's in my possibility, that's in my power to change. And that's all I did. I started attacking that list, man. I can't like beat myself up. I can't like get mad at myself. I've been here before. It was 10 years ago when I lost my UFC debut, exactly this month. And then, I went on my title run and, got that belt, got a defense and did everything I did in the UFC over there. So I've been here before. I feel like I'm more mature, I'm smarter in my approach, and I realize being nice to myself and being kind to myself is going to get me further along than judging myself and being mean to myself.
That's interesting. It's funny. I hadn't even thought about the comparison to your UFC debut, but it feels real similar, right? Like all the expectations on you, and then
I just
come
did
up
the
short.
Showtime kick, and then I lost the Clay Guida. And then like it's like the story of my life. I'm just like meant to be this way. God's plan, kind of. So that's why I'm like at the point where I'm at. It's like I've been here before. I've turned it around. Best thing I can do is change what's in my power, and I made that list and I attacked that list like crazy.
That's awesome. So I guess the good thing about the PFL format is here you are. I mean, you're back 2 months later, right? So is that like a good thing for you to just to get right back in the rhythm?
Last time I was here, I was ready to go, bro. Like I was here for 12 days in that quarantine, 11 days in the quarantine. And then the press conference, like I go downstairs, I'm like, damn, I feel like my stomach feels a little off, or like I'm nervous. I'm like, there's no way I'm nervous for this. I've been doing this way too long. We did the square off, and then I get back to my room, I start throwing up, bro. Like I got super sick. I'm like, man, my daughter was coming that Monday, so I'm like calling my fiance, like, should I just ride it out and take this fight? She's like, nah, like don't fight her, like don't fight when you're like not 100%. So I called the fight. Luckily, we still had the opportunity to come on this one, and kind of worked out well because I think Manfio was going to fight his teammate, and they switched that up. He fought my guy, so kind of God's plan, man. I feel like I'm definitely excited to be here. I have an opportunity to become a champion. Still, I got to go out there and finish this fight, and it doesn't really change what I thought about it. It's just I'm gonna take my time and slowly look for the finish, not force it.
It's interesting, right? Because I'm curious. Because the way the format is, you kind of need to go for the finish, but you can't rush it. It's such a kind of a difficult balance, right? Because that's the whole thing is don't rush anything. But the quicker you get this thing finished, the better chance you have of being in the playoffs, right? So is that a difficult balance as you step in there?
No, because it is a difficult balance because like when you're rushing, like for me, like when I want to be Showtime and I want to be flashy, it's a different energy source, right? And then if you look at the Clay Collard fight, that energy source you can't last that way. Like you're throwing power shots, and especially with, and I won't make excuses. Like it's just experiences. Like I said, I made a list. I wrote it down. I haven't fought on a vinyl canvas or vinyl floor in such a long time that it was so slippery out there. Every time I threw a kick, I was falling on my back, or like I couldn't get my footing on there. So I put that on there as adjustments. So I immediately focused on my boxing. I'm gonna use a lot more hands this fight. I've been posting it. Everybody's seen what I've been attacking. He knows what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be putting my hands together. I'm looking to put these hands on them, and not gonna force the kicks. I'm not gonna force anything flashy. You're gonna see a well fought, smart fight by me.
It's interesting because I had seen how much boxing was on your feed, almost like entirely boxing on your social media. So I was curious. I mean, is that boxing for MMA, or are you getting that little bug where you want to do the boxing crossover at some point?
Well, this boxing I'm doing now is for MMA, but I definitely will do some boxing in my career, man. I love to box, and I just doing the training, man. Listening to that music, seeing the guys I'm sparring with, man. Like it's just a fun environment. It's just like it's you just want to be there. So I definitely will, pursue that. And seeing Anderson Silva do it, bro. That's my idol, man. Seeing a guy like that go out there, like I have so much respect for that dude to see what he did against Chavez Jr. He could have fought, Logan Paul, and no one wanted to bet it than I, but he chose to fight a guy who had real experience, real championships, and tested himself. That's the boxing I want to do. I don't want to go over there and have like a speculation. I don't want to fight at a concert. I want to fight at a boxing show.
That was pretty inspiring performance, man. That was pretty unique.
Definitely. But yeah, man, the boxing I'm doing right now is for MMA. It's for it's Cuban style, Mexican style mix. It's range control, distance control, stuff I did very early in my career when I was just learning to put boxing together, because I was more of a Taekwondo guy with like decent power shots. I would throw haymakers. But when I decided to pursue MMA as a career, I studied the Cuban and Mexican style with Duke. And I found one of the best, Cuban and Mexican coaches in Vegas. He agreed to let me be part of his team. So it's huge for me, man, to be out there and doing that and having fun doing it.
That's awesome. By the way, your jujitsu is pretty good too, man. Do people ever talk to you about like, bro, go to the grappling more than you do?
Man, you know what? I do have really good jiu-jitsu, but like my submissions comes when I hurt guys. Like most of my wins are by submission. It's because I frustrated them on the feet and I made them give me the submission. They wanted out of it. They wanted to get the heck out of there. They didn't like it. Chiesa's fight. I stung him with that right hand off the kick, and then he tried to take me down. Then I got a submission. A lot of my submissions like that. I have a really good strong ground game, but I like knocking people out, man. That's my thing.
It's funny. I've asked you this before, but I think you're a little older, more mature now. But I've asked you about the Showtime kick, if it was almost a curse in some ways because you're forced to be that guy. Do you ever think about it? I mean, like if you could change it, would you take it back so that people didn't always put that on your shoulders?
No, man, that's just like, I mean, I've been doing this so long. For like saying that my UFC debut was 10 years ago. Whoa, I'm like even just saying that right now. I didn't even put that together. But I've been doing this so long, man. Like now that I'm more mature and I know where I'm at, like I'm okay being polite and kind to myself, man. Like I can't get frustrated with things I did in the past because that's the past. Like that's things that I was supposed to do that at that time. Right now, this is a totally different time. I got to put myself in a brain state where I can create and not be a prisoner to anything. Like no Showtime name, no whatever the media thinks, whatever my coaches think. It's literally I got to be in a creative mind space.
That's awesome. Hey, talk about life outside of the cage, right? Dad now, how amazing is that? Brother as a champion, I got to think that's a little bit inspiring as well to see him reach those heights as well. I mean, could life be in a better place right now?
Man, I'm blessed, bro. I'm definitely so blessed, bro. Like I like being part of this tournament, being in the position I'm at. My daughter was born very healthy. She's a beautiful little girl. I couldn't ask for a better experience with that. My little brother's out here right now with me, training with me. Watching him do what he did, that's what kind of inspired my transition to back to the basics. I saw how he fought his last fight. I'm like, dang, that's where I was at, and I got to get back to that clean striking. Having him back here, he's inspiring me. It's just everything's coming around full circle. I'm starting my fight show comes up in October. I got a boxing event coming in December. Everything's flowing, man.
That's awesome. Let me say, as a fellow father, it's a blessing to be a father, but don't lie. Did it feel good to be in that bubble and be able to sleep in a little bit and not have to
bro,
wake up?
The first bubble I was in, like I was like, man, because my daughter was due we knew she was due the 14th. Like we had that planned out so I could make my fight and then make the birth. The first bubble, I'm like the whole time, I'm like, man, if she comes while I'm in here, imagine that story, like explaining to her when she's like 10 years old. Hey, I was in quarantine in a tournament for this thing called COVID. Probably missed your birth. Like it'd have been crazy. And I kept thinking that, but everything worked out the way it was supposed to, man. I got home. I didn't get to fight, but I got home, saw my daughter's birth. I got to regroup. I got my head back right, and I got to see, like I said, I got to see her birth, and that's the most important thing for me.
That's a beautiful thing, man. All right, we'll talk about this matchup. Raush Manfio. What do you know about him? What do you think about him? How do you think your styles match up?
I know his last fight, honestly, man. Like I watched his last fight, I studied his last fight. I didn't go too far back in his career because, like I said, where you're at right now is the guy that's going to show up or similar to that guy. He has great right hand, counter right hand, good left check hook. He doesn't have too much off his back. Like when he's on his back, he doesn't look for submissions. He's not like trying to go for crazy stuff. But my game plan is to knock him out. I'm going to go out there in the orthodox stance. I've been showing it on my feeds. Like there's nothing like I'm going to change. I've been showing everything I'm doing. I'm going to put him in the orthodox stance. I'm going to find my rhythm. I'm going to build up a range. And once I find that range, it's showtime.
It's amazing. Is it confidence that I mean, like you just said, you're not hiding anything. You're showing everything. Like, this is what I'm going to do. This is the game plan. Like, is that confidence? Because I feel like there's always people trying to keep the element of surprise and have some little trickery. And you're just saying, nah, man, check out the video. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what's going to happen.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's just preparation. I would say, like the confidence comes from the preparation. Like, man, the first sparring session I had at that boxing gym wasn't pretty. I was tested, bro. I was like, whoa, it felt like a fight, and all the boxers wanted me to lose, and they're my teammates. his team, but you know they definitely wanted MMA not to win that boxing match. So I was in a hostile environment for the whole first 2-3 weeks until I could hold my own in there again. And it felt like I was like, yo, this is how I used to feel. Like I had to prove myself. And then once I started feeling what my coach was teaching me, I'm like, oh shit, this shit really works. You know, and like I used it before, like the range, the 1-2-1s, the ones, the cadence of building up the knockout. And then when the knockout comes, putting yourself in the right position for the knockout and not just leaving it up to chance, you know, throwing a haymaker. And I feel like for some reason, like the last couple of fights, I've been leaving it up to chance. I've been going 50-50 with these guys. Whoever lands first, whoever gets cut, you know, more loses. Like I don't need to fight that way. You know, I'm too smart to fight that way, too talented to fight that way. And I needed, I guess it's an outside voice. Cause I was even telling Duke, I'm like, Duke, you've been telling me this every fight. But then when I heard him say it, it just resonated something a little different, man. And I had to use it in the boxing gym, and I had to see it work immediately. And I'm like, okay, I got to trust the process. So I feel like, you know, it's fighting. You know, I'm going to go out there. I got 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 elbows, 2 knees, just like this guy. And, you know, I'm going to go out there and show him I'm better.
That's amazing, man. Well, it sounds like you're in a great mental space. So I guess what I would ask is, I mean, there's a chance you don't make the playoffs, right? I mean, even if you win, there's a chance you don't make the playoffs. Would that be some kind of huge disappointment or huge letdown? Or you just feel like, hey, it's out of my control. I do what I got to do.
Man, there's a chance I don't make the fight. You know, like I didn't make the fight. I was here last time and I didn't make the fight. So it's like, if you think about what could happen, you take yourself out of that creative mindset of what you want to happen and what you plan to happen. So yeah, man, I stopped thinking about what could happen a long time ago, man. Anybody's judgment upon me is come do what I do and see if you can live in my life. You know, like the fans that say, oh, retire, like that. And I hate that when fighters lose, fans are like, retire, they lost it. Come do what we do and see how hard this life is, man. And you know, I love this life. I'm blessed to be where I'm at. You just said everything that's going on in my life. Like I'm blessed to be in this position. I have no complaints.
That's awesome, man. Well, it's great to hear, man. It sounds like you're in an awesome place, man, after covering your career for so long, from the WC to the UFC today. It sounds like right now you might be happier than ever. So I'll just leave you with this, man. What do you think we see? I mean, this is a big one for you. It sounds like you're focused. Everything goes to plan. What do we see?
You're going to see a knockout, hands knockout. I'm calling it out. I'm building up. I'm going to build this thing up. Either right hand, left hook, or he's going to get stunned and shoot on me, and I'll get my submission. But I need the finish, so I'm getting my playoff spot.